afternoon. It's FA Cup action now, and we played Manchester City at the Etihad this afternoon, and a game that's going to be very much a cracker from a neutral point of view. I'm still at a loss to see why we've managed to draw 0-0 against Norwich on Saturday, but on Wednesday night, sorry. But the pitch didn't really help. It was a terrible pitch. Well, I say it was a terrible pitch. It was snow covered, and it's always difficult to play good football on a snow covered pitch. But you know, we can't criticise the referee. He did everything he could to get it on, and we got a game of football. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring any goals. So let's hope this cup tie lives up to all the pre-match billing and we get goals in this one. I tell you what, it's going to be a cracker at the Etihad. If it's anything as good as that League Cup quarter-final last month, then I think we'll be in for one hell of a cup tie here today. So let's get over to the Etihad, where I'm ready and waiting to bring you all the action and all the thrills and spills of the third round of the FA Cup. Hello, good evening. It's the Etihad Stadium for third round FA Cup tie action. As Burnley start a defence of the FA Cup, they won of the FA Cup. They won at Wembley against City neighbours United last season. The tie of the round of third round day, and I for one always look forward to third round day of the FA Cup, and certainly a tie like this always captures the public's imagination. Blue Moon, the City anthem, rings around this lovely ground. This is the Manchester City lineup. Willy Caballero gets the nod in goal. It's actually quite a strong lineup with James Milner in the midfield, with Toure, Khedira, Milner and Lopez. Sergio Aguero, the man up front. Varane and Nastajic are the two centre-backs. Burnley are unchanged from the 0-0 draw. Starting lineup wise from one change in fact. Luke Shaw comes back in for Stephen Ward, who drops out of the 16. Otherwise it is the same team that started the 0-0 draw with Norwich in midweek. Kieran Trippier, former Manchester City youngster, didn't really make too many appearances in his time at the Etihad. And we're all set to go then. Lopez is there. Oh, what a lovely picture. And helicopter above the stadium. The referee is Ramsey Dole. And we're all set to go. So this heavyweight third round FA Cup tie is up and running. Burnley in the claret and blue, City of course in sky blue. I repeated that League Cup quarter-final that took place last month, and a dramatic game it was too. If we get a repeat of that here tonight, then it will be a cracker. Here's Shaw. Just to remind everybody that if it does end a draw after 90 minutes, there will be no extra time tonight. We will have a replay a week on Wednesday at Turf Moor. Here's Trippier. Nyang was in there for an early touch, and he was the match winner, of course, last time these two sides met in the Cup, League Cup against City. Got the winner in a 4-3 win after extra time. Here's Lampard. Ings. Burnley do come to the party when it's the massive head-to-head games against the bigger teams. It's teams against Norwich, like for instance the other night Norwich they've struggled with. That's twice they've drawn against them in the league games this season. That's a good crossing towards Harry Kane, and it comes out to Aguero that time, but he's lost out to Frank Lampard up against his old side, of course. Gets it back a second time, and a very good save from Caballero. Lampard was very fortunate to get it back a second time, and when he did, his shot on the turn was a good one, and Caballero certainly one there for the television cameras. Here's Bentaleb with the corner. Very good one, a deep one as well. Shaw was there too. Lampard trying to chip the ball in. Ayang is there too. That's a good ball through to Danny Ings. Good save, Caballero, and then Kane ran out of pitch. And a goal kick it is to Manchester City. And 0-0 is still the score. Just to remind everybody, in the league game between these two sides here at the Etihad, this is Burnley's, incidentally, this is Burnley's third visit to the stadium this season. They have won twice here. 4-0 in the league and 4-3 in that League Cup quarter-final. Never to be forgotten, of course. And of course they've got to play Spurs in midweek in the first leg at White Hart Lane, which is going to be a humdinger. I think the last thing these two teams really need right now is a cup replay in a week and a half's time. Certainly with Burnley involved in a two-legged semi-final. That wasn't a good ball. And Burnley at the end of this month could well be on the way down to the Wembley way for the League Cup final. Can they go all the way in the league and the FA Cup as well? They won both domestic competitions, as well as the League Championship and the European Cup last season. As Chamberlain goes for goal and turned away by Caballero. It's a good header on my short. Back from suspension tonight. And out for the throw. Two Northwest rivals really going for it, hammer and tongs here in this third round of the FA Cup. And that's given away to Aguero. And he's got the legs to get away from Bartra. He's now one-on-one with Heaton, who picks up superbly. That's good, calm goalkeeping by the former Manchester United youngster. There has been talk of Max Gradle. There has been just a little bit of transfer news in case people don't know, that we have put in a bid in at Burnley for Max Gradle, £6 million to Saint Etienne. And bearing in mind Redmond's injury, it would be an opportune time to get a player like Max Gradle standing in for that sort of money, because he does pose a good bit of pace down that left-hand side, and I think we could do with an actual left winger. Meanwhile, City come bursting forward. Aguero was lacking again, and good defending again by, I think it was Bartra this time. Here's Ings. The cup tie has really opened up as a spectacle, but still no goals. Here's Ings. Oh, and a fine curling shot. Just goes wide of the far post. It's end-to-end stuff now in this third round FA Cup. And Danny Ings very close. Burnley for 2 years now unbeaten in FA and League Cup ties. They do enjoy the buzz and the excitement of a cup competition and a potential run to a final at Wembley Stadium. There's always a great charm when the final is being played at Wembley. Of course, both semi-finals now have to be played at Wembley to pay off that massive debt, on that massive bill that paid for Wembley Stadium. It was well over budget, of course, if you remember. Here's Kane now. 200 minutes at the end of the first half of this rip-roaring cup tie. It's Harry Kane, and that's the only goal. Harry Kane had scored against City, and what a goal. He burst through, and Caballero has had a tremendous first half in the City goal. Well, he could do little about that. Manchester City 0, Burnley 1 in the third round of this season's FA Cup. The road to Wembley potentially for Burnley starts here in a very difficult circumstance, away from home against one of their deadly rivals, not just at home but abroad. And the referee brings the first half to a close, so that late goal right on the stroke of half-time from Harry Kane gives Burnley a 1-0 lead at half-time in its third round of the FA Cup. Half-time, City 0, Burnley 1. Welcome back to the Etihad for this third round cup tie. This is the final tie of the afternoon. We'll have the draw probably in a couple of days' time. Here's Danny Ings though on the charge for Burnley right at the start of the second half. Another good save from Caminero. And Burnley starting the second half as they ended the first, almost scoring. No changes from either side incidentally as Burnley go towards the end where their fans are based. It's Bentaleb goes forward and it's tipped away by Willy Caminero. Just to remind everybody, after this game we'll bring you up to date with all the cup scores from today on third round weekend. Of course there's a couple of ties to be played tomorrow. But we'll bring you all up to date with all the other scores from third round weekend. So 5 minutes into the second half here in the tie of the round. It's a corner kick. Nyang was there. It comes to Luke Shaw. And a good save from Caminero. Beautifully struck with his left foot. It bent a little bit there in the air. Just swerved and dipped a little bit in the air as you can see. And it's another corner. And this time Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain with it. And Zuma's header straight into the arms of Caminero. Nyang. Good running by the former Milan player. Two waiting in the centre. Cross wasn't one of his best, but the goalkeeper didn't decide to come for it and he left it to his defence. City fans trying to spur their team on here as we played almost an hour here at the Etihad. Came on the run. Pace to burn this kid. Here he comes. Oh, he's gone right through Caminero. And Burnley go too clear. 2-0 Burnley here. And that's to extend going into the hats for the FA Cup fourth round draw. And it's a mistake really by Caminero. He let it go under his body. He wasn't a ferociously hit shot from Kane, it has to be said, but sometimes you need that little bit of luck in the FA Cup, and Burnley have got it in abundance here now. And the holders look as if they're going to go through and knock out one of the heavyweights. Manchester City, 2-0 they lead. And Kane has got them both. And what a fillip for a two-leg thriller against Spurs, starting at White Hart Lane on Wednesday night. And now City, if they're going to force a replay, have to score twice. Well, Burnley will be doing their utmost to try and extend it as far ahead as they can. And Ings is on the burst. And he scored! And that settles the game. 23 minutes remaining. And Burnley now for sure, unless City come back with a miracle in the last 22 minutes. And barring that miracle, potentially, Burnley are in round 4 of the FA Cup. And you can't get Ings out of the game. He's up and running in the FA Cup this season. 3-0. And this tie well and truly beyond the grasp of Manchester City. And it's beginning to look more like the league result earlier on this season rather than the Capital One thriller we got last month. Ings. Kane wants the hat-trick. He might get it now. Kane round Caminero and it's hit the post unbelievably. And the goal was yawning and gaping, but it might not matter too much anyway. Trippier back to Heaton, and amazingly this is his first touch in the second half. Plays a 1-2 with his right back. Khedira. Away from Trippier, good cross, but again, well won again by the Defender Bartra that time. Here's Ings. Kane again on the run. And wasn't a good ball. I think he was looking for Nyang, and in the end their paths double crossed each other really. Zuma, coolly done. That's a lovely ball, and Kane has put Ings in the clear now. This would really wrap it up now. It has! 4-0! Ruthless finishing from Ings and Kane. And Burnley now are through to round 4. And that was just coolness personified from Danny Ings, who after that 3-month injury layoff is making up for very, very lost time here now. The Burnley bench up in celebration, because they know now that they're in the hat for the 4th round draw. And very well deserved as well, one has to say. Frank Lampard has picked up a slight knock, but he'll continue. He might be benched for the Spurs game on Wednesday. I think they're resting Joelberg for that one. Here's Kane now trying a long range effort. The easy one there for Caminero. So City ambition to win one of the domestic cups this season have fallen by the wayside, at least for another 12 months or so. Here's Danny Ings now. Oh, that would have been a magnificent way to ice this one. That would have been the perfect icing on the cake, and it, oh, he only missed by an inch or two there. Otherwise that would have really put the icing on the cake. City change, 2 minutes to go. Lopez, who is quite frankly been very, very poor, is going to be replaced here. And on in his place is Alvaro Negredo. So it's all about now playing up the time. 2 goals apiece for Ings and Kane. That partnership well and truly back on the run again, back in the groove once again, as we're well in deep into 4 minutes of stoppage time. And Burnley have dominated possession just slightly there, 48% to 52% in their favour. Kane quite content now just to hold it up and just bring about this victory in a very confident, compact manner. Nyang, good cross. And there is the whistle. And Burnley are through quite comfortably in the end, thanks to 2 goals each from Kane and Ings. A 4-0 victory over Manchester City, whose cup hopes ended the first hurdle. Burnley in the hat for round 4. Comfortable winners tonight. 4-0 over Manchester City. Well, what a 3rd round game. So Burnley safely through, as you've seen. 4-0 there against Manchester City. And one piece of transfer news from the Claris tonight. We've got Max Gradel now from Saint Etienne. It's cost us £6 million, and he's signed with us now, and he'll be a great addition to our wing play, I'm sure. He's a very experienced player, and he's 77 rated, so we're getting a very good player there, and hopefully he can do some good things for us in the second half of the season, considering that we've lost Redmond for a long spell now. And it will take him at least a good 2 or 3 months before he gets back to fitness, so it gives Grado a good opportunity for some game time here. Anyway, I did say whilst we were commentating on the Manchester City clash that would bring you up to date with some 3rd round results. In fact, we can bring them to you now. And at the top of the list there, we have a big shock. AFC Wimbledon, whose predecessors Wimbledon had a very good knack of upsetting big teams, especially in 1988 when they beat Liverpool to win the FA Cup that year. When the giant-killing exploits are well and truly at it again. 1-0 winners against Swansea City, who were highly fancied to go quite a long way in this competition. So Gary Monk's side, another high-profile casualty of the 3rd round, out. Barnsley 0, Everton 2. So no problems for Roberto Martinez's side at Holtwell today. Blackburn 1, Preston 1 in the Lancashire derby there at Ewood Park. So that goes to a replay at Deepdale. Another casualty of the third round. Chelsea are out, beaten at Bolton by 2-0. And that will be a big blow for Mourinho's men, Nat. And they've just the league challenge against ourselves and the Champions League to go for now. Bournemouth 2, Notts County 1. Brentford 1, Cardiff 2. No problems for Birmingham and Gary Rowett against his old side Burton. 2-0 winners at the Pirelli today. Robert Charlton 1, Sheffield United 1. That goes to replay now at Bramall Lane. Derby 2, Huddersfield 1 at the iPro. Leicester, another team that have... Leicester are out of the cup, knocked out by Leeds 2-1 at Ellen Road. A replay for Northampton. What a great performance for them. 1-1 at Anfield. Drawing 1-1 at Anfield, and they go back to Sixfields for the replay. And that should be a marvellous occasion for them. And a bit of a money spinner as well for little Northampton. So well done to Northampton. Not easy to hold mighty Liverpool at Anfield, but they managed it superbly. So well done to Northampton. City built Burnley 4. We knew that. Mansfield 0, Palace 1 was the score. Mansfield did well there to push Palace all the way in that one. Middlesbrough 3, Crewe Alexandra 1 at the Riverside. Newcastle no problems at all at St James's Park. 3-1 winners against 3-0 winners against Ipswich Town. Notts Forest 1, Hull 2 at the City Ground, so Hull safely through. Oldham and Chesterfield 0-0 at Boundary Park, so they have to replay. Peterborough 1, Villa 2, Aston Villa through at London Road, the bottom side in the Premier League. So too our Arsenal just about got through against Queen's Park Rangers in that London derby. Reading and Fulham replay at Craven Cottage after a 0-0 draw. Rochdale Leyton Orient drew 1-1 at Scotland, so it's back to Brisbane Road for the replay in that one. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Wolves 2 at Hillsborough, so Wolves through. Southampton join West Midlands, fellow West Midlands teams Birmingham and Aston Villa in the draw. Southampton just so enough to beat fellow Premier League team Wigan by 1-0 at St Mary's. Colchester through at Southend in the local derby there. Tottenham through against West Ham. Big London derby down there today. Spurs winning that one by 2-0. So both Spurs and Burnley preparing for that semi-final with wins apiece. Sunderland 3, Blackpool 0. Watford 2, Shrewsbury 1 at Vicarage Road. West Brom are out. Midlands rival Stoke beat them 3-1 at the Hawthorns. And the games played on Sunday. Brighton 2, Gillingham 0 at the Amex. Bradford sneaking past Hartlepool up at Victoria Park. Jeff Stelling won't be pleased. Manchester United 2, Bristol City 0. Plucky effort from Steve Cottrell's men, but Manchester United just having too much on the day. And finally, Norwich are through. 1-0 winners against Millwall. We haven't had the draw yet for the third round in the FA Cup. As soon as we get it, we will bring it to you. And in fact, we're just in the middle of some transfer business there, but we haven't had the draw yet. We may well get the draw after the replay, so watch this space. Just one more piece of news before we leave you tonight. Kieran Trippier has signed a new contract, and he signed a 1-year extension, so that's great news for the Clarets. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Well, for the FA Cup third round video. We'll be back with some more cup action, this time in the Capital One Cup. We take on Spurs in the first leg of the semi-final. Be sure to join us for that. Till then, ta-ra.